independence from Denmark and will now have to put together a coalition government. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
From the studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska, we present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy. Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports. And welcome to a Wednesday, the 12th day of March for 2025. Mike Will, Tyson Havronic, ready to start your day the right way. All of your news, weather, and sports. Important information to pass along to you throughout the hour. Today going to be a busy day, so thanks for joining us. Going to be talking about Nebraska baseball victory last night over Wichita State. The Huskers had a good night last night, winning over the Shockers by the score of 10-1. Nebraska's senior guard Bryce Williams has been named a first-team all-conference player in the Big Ten Conference. Hastings College softball team has had to juggle their schedule for the weekend to avoid some impending weather. We'll get you up to date on that. Hastings College baseball team still scheduled to play a 4-game series against Waldorf this weekend. Hastings College women's basketball team getting ready to face the College of the Ozarks on Friday night in the first round of the NAIA National Tournament at Lynn Farrell Arena. Boys State High School basketball tournament gets underway today in Lincoln. We'll have Donovan Trumbull and Ogallala coming up for you this afternoon here on Extreme Sports. And again, a lot of moves in the National Football League in the last 24 hours. Going to have some comments coming up from Matt Rule, head football coach for the Huskers, as Nebraska gets ready to open up spring football practice. We'll also hear from Troy Baker, the head coach for the Hastings College softball team, all during the hour. So a busy hour for us. And again, thanks for joining us here on Extreme Sports and Huddle Up as we welcome in Tyson from the Western Studios this morning. Good morning.
And a good morning to you, Mike, as we wake up and get going. And people already in the lobby here this morning. Tammy sending a good morning from the Mountain Time Zone over in Denver. She's waking up at 6 a.m. with us this morning, so extra double dose of dedication to our fine listeners here this morning as we get going here for another day of Huddle Up. Good morning.
Yeah, lots of things going on. We got the state basketball tournament today in Lincoln. Classes A, C1, and D1 will play their first-round games today. And then classes B, C2, and D2 will play their first-round games on Thursday. It'll be Donovan Trumbull playing Ogallala today in a first-round game at the Devaney Center. That one gets underway at 1:30 this afternoon. We'll have the game here on Extreme Sports, 1:15 for the pregame show. This is a rematch from a game at the Heartland Hoops Classic that Donovan Trumbull didn't play very well. Ogallala beat Donovan Trumbull in that game by a score of 75-33. The lowest output offensively for the Cardinals for the entire season was against Ogallala. They scored just 33 points, so they got a rematch today. First round of the state tournament down in Lincoln, and we'll have the game for you here on the Extreme Sports again beginning at 1:15. Class A games today. You've got Papillion La Vista playing Papillion La Vista South is playing Papillion La Vista in a first-round matchup. That'll be at Pinnacle Bank Arena this afternoon. Millard North against Bellevue West, Omaha West Side and Lincoln Southwest, and Lincoln North Star against Lincoln Southeast. Other games in Class C1 today, in addition to the Donovan Trumbull Ogallala game, you've got Fillmore Central playing the number 1 seed Lincoln Lutheran. That'll be at 9 this morning at the Devaney Center, followed by Cozad against Ashland Greenwood. Then you get Ogallala against Donovan Trumbull and Omaha Concordia against Sidney. The games in Class D1 today in the state tournament. Johnson Brock will play Elmwood Murdoch at 9 this morning at PBA, followed by McCool Junction against Elm Creek. And then at the Devaney Center tonight, Howells Dodge against Dundee County Stratton, and Bancroft Rosalie against North Platte St. Pat. So that's your opening round matchups for the Boys State High School basketball tournament that gets underway here in just a couple of hours down in Lincoln.
And I know you and Gino are looking forward and got your bags packed and ready to head as soon as this show wraps up. Going to be heading towards the capital city and checking out the DT Cardinals and their matchup against Ogallala. And yeah, we just hope for a little better performance from DT than we saw in the Heartland Hoops Classic. But you know, we put all eyeballs on Ogallala this season before. They're a good basketball team, and they produced a lot of score lines like what we saw with DT over the Heartland Hoops Classic. So that's going to be a tough task, but that's a good, solid nucleus of Cardinals that have had experience at the high level and are looking to pull off a potential quote-unquote upset bid. I say quote-unquote upset bid because I don't really say upsets when you get to the final 8 teams in the state tournaments. You've got the 8 best on display on the floor, so I don't have the, oh my god, a 7 beat at 2, it's a huge upset. No, man, they deserve to be there, and so it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if Coach Bird doesn't come around with a little better game plan this time against Ogallala, having seen them in person and on film, and put together a good recipe for his Cardinals. We'll see.
Ogallala, a team that can really put some points on the scoreboard. I was doing some work last night. I think their last 5 games, they've scored over 80 points.
Yep.
And that's really good for a high school basketball team. So they're going to have to slow them down a little bit. We'll see what happens this afternoon. Again, we'll have Donovan Trumbull and Ogallala coming up for you this afternoon right here on Extreme Sports beginning at 1:15. Hastings College softball. We're beginning our debut year of Hastings College softball, and they're kind of throwing a curveball at us right off of the bat, but we'll be able to handle it. We've got games now on Thursday and Friday involving Hastings College softball. The Broncos are going to be playing Briar Cliff tomorrow at 4 and at 6 at the Smith Complex, and then they'll turn around on the Friday morning and play Northwestern at 10 and at noon. So we'll have all 4 of those games on the air for you Thursday and Friday. Hastings College softball coverage beginning here on Extreme Sports. Again, Briar Cliff on Thursday afternoon/evening, and then the Northwestern on Friday morning/afternoon before the rain's expected to move through the area sometime on Friday afternoon into Friday evening. So we'll have the action for you. Really excited to begin Hastings College softball here this season on Extreme Sports.
Oh man, and so is the Hastings College coaching staff softball team. Had a chance to catch up with Coach Baker. We'll have that interview coming up a little bit later here in the show, but they're just grinning ear to ear for some media coverage, and they're looking forward to it. And they've got a pretty good offense to display for us here this season. They're excited to get the GPAC season underway, but I think more importantly for Hastings College, man, they're excited to be home. They're tired of living in buses and vans and hotels. They've had to make the first month and a half of their season basically down south in Kansas, over in Branson, Missouri. So they're just excited to wake up in their dorm rooms or their homes and head over to the softball complex to get the season underway. But looking forward to the opener come Thursday with Briar Cliff. They've shuffled the schedule around. That was originally slated to be a Saturday contest. They've moved that with the matchup with the Chargers over to Thursday, and so we'll get the season underway with the Chargers and then turn around for what should be an extremely entertaining softball game series on Friday with the Northwestern Raiders. Northwestern, they're pretty good. They've put up 20 wins so far on the campaign in just a little over a month's time. So it'll be a big task for the Broncos, but a big opportunity to get yourself off to a hot start in conference play and jump up the standings where it could get pretty tight at the top. So we're looking forward to a fun GPAC race.
402-834-1330 is our telephone number if you'd like to chime in. Anything we're talking about or anything on your mind here today, either sports related or not, give us a call, 402-834-1330. You can drop us a message on our social media sites as well. We're monitoring those in the Western studios, and thanks for joining us. Lobby is filling up, so thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. NFL moves. Joey Bosa, the defensive end, he was not on the free agent market too long. He was released by the Los Angeles Chargers last Wednesday. He's signed on now, a 1-year, $12.6 million deal with your Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo's making some moves, which is a stark contrast from what we saw a year ago after they got bumped out of the postseason, and they kind of held what they had. And they brought in some weapons offensively, a little backup running back issue for Mr. Cook over there, and now you kind of anchor your defense. It looks like Buffalo is loading up for a run at this thing. That they re-sign Josh Allen, they get his contract all secure. They're ready to make that next step, but they realize that the players that they've got on the roster currently aren't going to be able to get open over that hump. So you bring in a renowned pass rusher, one of the fiercest in the game. He is going to be an absolute threat defensively. They did release Von Miller, which wasn't a surprising move, but you've immediately replaced him and his ability on the pass rush with, I think, maybe a little bit sharper tool defensively. And so looking forward to seeing how the other teams respond. But Buffalo has come out of the gates here, and they've made a splash so far here in free agency, and we haven't even got to the draft yet. So really looking forward to continued commitment to this football team from the Buffalo Bills ownership. But it looks like they're loading up for a run at this thing. They think that maybe that they've got Kansas City on the back pedal a little bit, and here's your opportunity.
Okay, I'm going to bring this up to you. Just a couple of things in the NFL yesterday involving the Chiefs. We lose DeAndre Hopkins. Okay. He signs a 1-year, $5 million with Baltimore. He is gone. The Chiefs also yesterday lost Justin Reed, one of their starting safeties. He signed an agreement to join the New Orleans Saints. Last week, Kansas City lost Kareem Hunt to the Las Vegas Raiders. Is this the start of the unraveling of the Kansas City Chiefs?
I would say that, but historically they've always come and found cover. And they've always moved the right chess pieces on the board to continue to have their dominance in the AFC. The offseason is long, and Kansas City still has some opportunities and some players out there, and I don't know if it's the unraveling. I think maybe if you're going to talk unraveling, the 49ers might be where you start. Boy, they have had a fire sale over there in San Francisco and lost to core pieces of that football team, which was pretty dominant just a couple of years ago, but fell on tough times last year, and now you see Kyle Juszczyk and some long time standing 49er names that are starting to get their exit papers. So I would say unraveling right now is going on in San Francisco, not necessarily Kansas City, as I'm still confident that management team and that front office is good enough to find some cover. I mean, and you're talking about Hunt and Hopkins. They're on the wrong side of 30 right now. They're the NFL veterans that's their peak has probably been reached and are going to head on the steady downside or the decline. So I'm not surprised by those two moves.
The Chiefs are over the salary cap. I read this morning Patrick Mahomes is going to renegotiate or rework his contract to free up some salary cap space. He's done that several times since he's signed on with the Chiefs. So they're going to rework his contract to provide a little bit of a salary cap space for a Kansas City. But, boy, just right off the bat, you bang, 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 three players are gone. Yeah, I know we have a very bright general manager, and I know that after we won the Super Bowl that everybody was saying, no, this would be the end of the Chiefs because there's no way that they can sign all these players, but they did. And so I know we're going to be making some moves in the free agent market and probably in the draft. But, boy, it just hits you like in the last 7 days. 3 of our, I wouldn't say best players, but 3 players that provided a lot of minutes for Kansas City are gone.
And I think veteran leadership in the locker room, too. I mean, that you can't understate how important that is as you're going through the grind of the NFL season to have that veteran presence in the locker room. But here's the one thing I'll say, and you brought it up about Mahomes restructuring his contract. That's what it takes to get winners in this league. That's what it takes to continually be towards the summit when it comes to success in the NFL, is it takes that commitment and that buy-in from everybody where, you recognize that what the cap room is and what your cap space is, and you take a look at your own personal salary and, hey, we can rework this year so that we can bring some guys in around me, that we can add some pieces to this puzzle and put a pretty good product on the field. That's the level of commitment, and you don't see it from every team. You don't see it from every player, but you do from Patrick, and I've always applauded him for that. And I've always kind of thought, how does Kansas City seem to come up with this magic money? They signed Mahomes to ungodly figures where, we were breaking down Allen's contract yesterday, and, I remember doing that just a few years ago with Mahomes, and I'm like, well, that's great and all, but how are you going to sign anybody around him? Well, because he continually reworks that contract to help bring guys in. So a couple chiming in here from the comments. Bill's signing Joey to keep Lamar and Mahomes at bay. Absolutely. They got to keep up with the Joneses and get that pass rush presence. I think that's going to be huge defensively. That's an area where we've struggled. Buffalo in the playoffs is it hadn't been scoring. It's been stopping you. And we've seen plenty of shootouts with KC and Buffalo over the years. Yeah, front office, very smart. So, I'm curious to see how this all unfolds and what teams join the arm race. But right now, Buffalo is shot out of the gates in the NFL arms race to fortify that roster and get prepared here for 2026.
I was just in fact, I had lunch with a stern San Francisco 49ers fan yesterday. And he was like you, boy. He says it's a fire sale.
Yep.
It's a fire sale at San Francisco. I said, well, at least you got Brock Purdy. I think they're going to sign to Brock Purdy. He's going to stay on, but who else is he going to throw to?
Yeah.
Who's going to run the ball for San Francisco? They'll get somebody in. Mm-hmm. They're not releasing all these guys, and all these moves are being had without a plan. And there'll be a player. San Francisco will bring some people in. Anyway, a lot to talk about today. So if you'd like to chime in, 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. You can always join us there. Lots of people leaving us messages already on all of our social media sites. We're just at the tip of the iceberg today. We are jam-packed full of stuff we want to talk about here today on Extreme Sports. This is Huddle Up. It is 7:17 now.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Morning news update here on Extreme Sports. It is currently 7:18. As part of its annual Pancake Day event yesterday, the Hastings Kiwanis Club announced that they will launch a fundraising initiative with the goal of raising $200,000 to help build a new and significantly upgraded community skate park to be constructed where the current skate park has been since it was installed in 2003. The current skate park outdated and showing its age with pieces that are worn and cause occasional falls and spills, especially for beginning skaters. While the new skate park will contain multiple new features, it will fit onto the existing concrete pad, as the current skate park has a number of large open areas that aren't utilized. Kiwanis will work to raise the remaining balance of the project through efforts such as Give Hastings Day, coming up on May 1st. Meanwhile, over at the college, Hastings College will induct 3 individuals and a foundation into its Pro Reggae Society coming up on Thursday, April 24th, honoring Dr. Robin Kuzer, Glenn Moss, Judy Sandine, and the Kitty M. Perkins Foundation. Hastings College will recognize the individuals and foundation for their long-standing dedication to the college. The ceremony will be held at Laughlin Country Club in Hastings and feature a musical tribute by Hastings College Music. The reception begins at 5 p.m., with the dinner and ceremony beginning at 6. We head over to the state capitol, where yesterday Governor Jim Pillen announced the retirement of Colonel John Bolduc, superintendent of the Nebraska State Patrol, following a 38-year career in law enforcement. Colonel Bolduc's retirement is effective May 4th when he reaches the age of 60. Colonel Bolduc has served as Nebraska's superintendent since 2017. And senators at the state capitol in Lincoln gave second-round approval to 2 competing bills, which either require the state to adopt year-round daylight saving time, which is what we have now and is freaking awesome, or mandate year-round standard time, which would be horrible and depressing and has zero good arguments, other than people not wanting to drive to work in the dark. Anyways, some senators even voted for both, leaving any decision to a third and final round of debate, which is expected to come later this month. It's now 7:20. We'll head back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's the haps in sports?
Well, Carson Yasa tossed 5 scoreless innings, and Devin Nunez drove in a season-high 5 runs to lead the Nebraska baseball team to a 10-1 win over Wichita State last night at Hawks Field. Yasa recorded a season-high 8 punch-outs and allowed just 2 base hits and a walk across 5 innings. Nunez was 3 for 5 with the plate. Nebraska is now 6-8 on the season. Same 2 teams will play tonight. First pitch will be at 6:02. Nebraska's senior guard Bryce Williams has been named a first-team all-conference player in the Big Ten Conference. He becomes the first Husker since 2018 to be named the all-conference first team. Williams averaged 20.7 points per game this year to go along with 4.4 rebounds and 3 assists per game in Big Ten play. He was also among the conference leaders in free throw percentage and minutes played and in free throws made. Hastings College softball team has juggled their schedule for the upcoming weekend to avoid impending weather. The Broncos will now play Briar Cliff on Thursday at 4 and 6 out of the Smith Complex. On Friday, Hastings will play Northwestern at 10 and noon. We'll have the games on Extreme Sports, beginning with a pregame show at 3:45 tomorrow afternoon. Hastings College baseball team is scheduled to play Waldorf in a 4-game series coming up this weekend. Saturday's doubleheader will get underway at 1 out at Duncan Field. Sunday's action will begin at 12 o'clock noon. Hastings College women's basketball team will play the College of the Ozarks on Friday night in the first round of the NAIA National Tournament at Lynn Farrell Arena. This will be the 9th meeting between the two schools since 2005, but the first since 2018. Tip-off will be at 5 o'clock. In the other game, Huntington of Indiana will play LSU Shreveport. We'll have the action on Extreme Sports beginning with the pregame at 4:45 on Friday afternoon. Boys State High School basketball tournament gets underway today in Lincoln. First round games in classes A, C1, and D1 will be played today. First round games in classes B, C2, and D2 will be played on Thursday. Among the games today is Doniphan Trumbull playing Ogallala. The Indians beat the Cardinals 75-33 in the Heartland Hoops Classic earlier this year. Tip-off for the game will be at 1:30 at the Devaney Center. We'll have the action here on Extreme Sports beginning with the pregame show at 1:15 this afternoon. That's a check on your sports headlines coming up on 7:24 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
Enjoy this Wednesday because it's the calm before the storm. Hey, everybody. Tim Jones, Nebraska Weather TV. 72 is the high today, mostly sunny skies and actually a calm wind in the afternoon. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 40. On Thursday, the winds ramp up. Southerly winds 10 to 15, increasing to 15 to 20. We'll see gusts to 30 miles per hour. Plenty of sunshine, a high of 75. Thursday night, the winds continue, an overnight low of 50. Friday will bring in chances for rain and a high of 70.
We've got west winds this morning at 5 miles per hour. It is cloudy. It is 31 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. located at 208 South Burlington, Suite 101 in Hastings. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating scalp treatments, and Advanced Glow 2 facials, along with ozone therapy and frequency healing. Join us for our spring open house on March 29th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy free tours, 20% off all bookings, exciting giveaways, and a chance to win a $100 gift card for the first 30 product purchases. Become a member for 24-hour access to amenities like the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge, plus discounts on services and products. Visit us on Facebook to learn more. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Truly holistic care designed for you.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Volland Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Extreme Sports has been bringing you the exclusive home of Hastings College Athletics, and we're just getting started. Thanks to our incredible sponsors and your support, Extreme Sports 2 has been a huge success. And now we're excited to announce the launch of Extreme Sports 3. With Extreme Sports 3, you'll get even more local sports coverage. Plus, 24/7 access to Sports by Line, where you'll hear the best in national sports talk. Whether it's Hastings College, high school action, or the latest from around the sports world, we've got it covered across all 3 streams. And don't forget, when we're not broadcasting games, join us weekday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. for Huddle Up with Mike Will and Tyson Havronik. It's the perfect way to start your day with sports, news, weather, and great local interviews. So tune in, check out all 3 streams, and stay with us for even more sports coverage coming soon. Thank you to our sponsors for making it all possible, and to you, our listeners, for keeping Extreme Sports strong.
All right, Mike Will, Tyson Havronik with you. It's Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. It is a Wednesday, the 12th day of March for 2025. Thanks for joining us, whether you're listening to us online at our website at x-streamsports.com, maybe on your smartphone with our free mobile app, maybe on your smart speaker, Roku TV, the app there, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch. Thanks for joining us here on Huddle Up. One other thing that kind of skipped by us when we were talking earlier, Tyson, Tiger Woods yesterday came out just out of the blue yesterday afternoon and said all of a sudden he ruptured his left Achilles tendon while he was ramping up training and practice at his home, and he had to go undergo surgery yesterday on a ruptured Achilles tendon. Obviously, he's going to be out for a while. He's not going to play in the Masters.
Yep.
And he could be out for a while again. That's a 3 to 6 month injury, maybe even up to 9 months before he's going to recover from a ruptured Achilles tendon. When football players have that, that's a pretty well a season-ending injury. So that just came out of the blue yesterday. All of a sudden, Tiger Woods, he was at home working out by himself as he's getting ready for the Masters coming up, and he ruptures his Achilles tendon. He's done for a while, and that might be the beginning of the end right there. Tiger hasn't competed in a PGA Tour event so far this season, and the last tour event he played in, he missed the cut at the Open at the Royal Troon Golf Course in Scotland back in July of last year. So I love watching Tiger play golf, but he hasn't been on the course here lately, and this could be the beginning of the end of him.
He hasn't been on the course, hasn't really been competitive like you mentioned. And I think, irregardless of whether or not he's been competitive, he's still been good for the game because fans will still tune in to see where's Tiger at, how's Tiger doing. And Tiger still gets all the cameras. He could be 2 over par and 3 shots back from the cut line, and yet he's still going to get the focus because he has got that power and that audience and that following. But you're right. Your Masters is out of the question. And I think really when you take a look at the grand scope of things, how do you hop into an event 6 months down the road just to participate? He might call her good for this season, and I think the clock is ticking on Tiger, and at least in terms of the PGA. He'll probably come back and play in your majors, play a round or two just to collect a paycheck and get some eyeballs on him. But I think as far as Tiger and a roar and a comeback and playing competitive with the golfers that are around right now, it'll be tough. Yeah, so that came out yesterday. No Tiger at the Masters come this April.
All right, 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. If you'd like to chime in here today, something sports related, something we've talked about, or something we haven't talked about, or maybe something else is on your mind, give us a call here today or leave us a message. This weather thing that's coming up this weekend, is that still in the works? I saw some stuff. They were talking about millibars and something I don't understand. It's way, way over my head. That it seems to be maybe to the east, east of here in Iowa, in that area, but it still could affect us.
Iowa, Missouri. I mean, we're going to get some weather this weekend, but I think as far as being in the epicenter of the quote-unquote bomb cyclone, I think that threat has generally shifted much further east, and I'm not talking like Metro, Lincoln, Omaha. We're talking like Iowa and Missouri. Those were at least the models that I was looking at. And again, I'm no chief meteorologist by any stretch of the imagination. And, there's 1,000 weather maps and 1,000 weather radars that can tell you 1,000 different things. But at least as far as what I've been looking at, it looks like we're going to get pushed off to the east. I still think we'll have some wind. I still think we'll have some rain in there. But as far as being in the danger or the risk area of the really wacky stuff, I think that's shifted further to the east.
Could see some snow, I see, in northern parts of the state, maybe Friday into Saturday. And then they're calling for maybe next Wednesday. You keep your eyes on the next Wednesday. We could see some more snow move through our area next Wednesday. Mother Nature's not done with winter yet, huh?
I told you, man. We're in our we're in the fake spring. This is fake spring. This is the fake spring that you get right before you get your last good old dumping of snow from Mother Nature. I still haven't put away my snow shovel. It's still sitting in the front of my house, ready for the next wave. Just as a precaution, I think come the 4th of April, I'll probably put it away.
No, mine's put away.
Yeah, I know.
I put it away last week.
It's why it snows in the forecast Wednesday. Way to
7:33. The spring sports teams, they're ready to go. Softball for Hastings College, ready to get going this weekend with their conference season. Again, they've moved things around. The Broncos are going to play Briar Cliff tomorrow now at 4 and 6 out at the Smith Complex. And then Friday, quick turnaround. They'll play Northwestern at 10 and noon. And we'll begin our Hastings College's softball broadcast schedule this weekend with all 4 games here on Extreme Sports. And yesterday you had a chance to sit down with the main man himself, huh?
Yeah, yesterday a conversation with Troy Baker, head coach of the Hastings College Broncos softball team, and did some quick editing this morning because we had some references to the previously mentioned times. I'm 99.9% sure I got rid of most of the references to any sort of scheduled games, but in case you do hear one slip in, just note, Briar Cliff is going to lead things off Thursday. We'll then duel Northwestern come Friday morning, a game they pushed up because of weather, but we got and I say it quote unquote this on this, Mike, an early season look. They're 18 games in, but since we're putting eyeballs on them and they're getting ready for the GPAC play, we hear how their month went down south in Kansas and Missouri. First of all, we're anxious. We're looking forward to kicking off the Great Plains Athletic Conference season, a month of non-conference for you guys down south over in Kansas, over in Branson, Missouri. Highlights include an 8-game winning streak that you were able to put together. Let's talk a little bit about this softball team. I say early impressions, but we're 18 games in here. What have you seen from the team in non-con?
I would say that we've played some pretty good teams first. Especially in Branson this last weekend. I think this team's different than, you look at our records the last few years. Not pretty if you go look. And I think our strength as a team has been our hitting. Don't look at Branson again, but the kids that I brought in, there was 25 new players that I brought in. I was not happy with how the season ended last year, so I just said, let's just clean it up and see what happens. Brought in a bunch of different transfers, JUCO kids, freshmen, and it's worked. Knock on wood so far. Our middle order, I think, and I'm not putting anybody down, is as good as anybody in our conference, and that includes the Northwesterns of the world. We're going to find that out in a few days, but they've been good. Hopefully, we can continue that into the conference play.
I was talking with Coach Williams. I think it was after the Wichita weekend series, and we dropped a couple games there. But he said that it wasn't a matter of poor play or anything like that. It was timely hitting. Has timely hitting kind of been a bit of focus and getting those clutch hits in run scoring opportunities? Yeah,
I told coaches that wanted to listen to me, which is not a lot, that our 2 through 7 is dangerous. And it has. If you look at our 2 through 7, I'm just guesstimating here, we're hitting around 340, 350 with those ladies in the middle. You look through the RBIs, like Lauren Schneider's a 2-hitter, and she's in double figures. We got a couple kids that are almost getting 20 RBIs already. It's a dangerous lineup. And, when we do struggle, like we played Our Lady of the Lakes, who is a defending national champions. I think they're ranked 9th right now. We had the bases loaded in the first inning. And we were in a spot with 5 and 6. We had a strikeout and a pop-up. And, games earlier, we were getting RBIs, even the worst case scenario, a sac fly. Against the big dogs, you gotta execute. And in that game, we did not. We had runners on, and it's not like that she struck out everybody. We had at least 1 or 2 runners on every inning, and just couldn't get that key hits. And that is what is going to be moving forward a big success, or it's going to be a failure for us to succeed.
Talk a little bit about just the team chemistry, because that's a different component that can often lead to some success on the diamond. And I look up and down this lineup, and even with the coaching staff, and I just think, man, this has got to be a fun bunch to be around.
It is. So, bringing in Coach Theo Harris even said, how do you want me to bring 25 players in to buy the culture? Because that's a big thing, and you hear that on every level: football, basketball, baseball, softball, whatever. The culture is strong. The culture's been pretty good. I'm never going to say it's awesome, because I don't know if there is such a thing, because everybody wants to play. You can't make 30-some players happy. It's hard enough to make 5 players happy in any level. They've bought in. Bringing in like a Lauren Lee, who comes from a JUCO in Colorado, Anna Medeiros, who is from Hawaii, who came from a JUCO. They bought in right away. And when you see new players come in, the old players want it. You know, like our seniors have been dying to play at a high level, and they've got players that can help them. You know, like Lexi Mudloff was our 3 or 4 hitter. She's hitting 6 this year. You know, it's just, it takes pressure off her saying, oh my God, these guys are helping us. It's made the dynamic better. Again, it's a new season starting this weekend. It doesn't matter if we were 18-0 or 0-18. We're 0-0 right now. And our goal is to win the conference title. And again, everybody's saying, well, geez, you guys were 4-16 or 18, whatever the heck we were last year in conference play. We're going to surprise some teams. And again, Tyson, what's weird is we saw 2 number ones that pitched against us in Branson that there is no way we would have saw their number ones last year. They saved them because they looked at our lineup and went, oh my God, these guys are really good. And again, I don't think they haven't said, hey, you guys got a good team. We know that. Now we got to beat them. That's the thing. And that's what's going to be on our plate when we play Northwestern is how big of a jump have we made from last year to this year?
Was there a sense of urgency, maybe a fire with this team? Preseason polls came out. They didn't pick us very high to finish in the Great Plains Athletic Conference. Did that sort of light a fire or get a chip on the shoulder before the season even started? Kind of seeing that?
A little bit. I tipped them off. I said, ladies, here's what's going to happen, because I've done this way too long, is they base conference records off of the years past. And I said, where we finished, it doesn't matter what we know, they don't know. And I kind of told them, and I said, the biggest key is the Ottawa games. I said, Ottawa's always been a perennial powerhouse in the KCAC. They've always gone to the national tournament. And what do? We won game 1. And they went, oh, Baker isn't smoking crack or anything like that. You know, he's telling us the truth. And I think they have bought that because, and again, you can read my emotions as a coach. It's, even being 54 years old, I have that passion. I had an old coach came up to me and said, you haven't lost your enthusiasm all this year. Well, I think when I do, it's time to get out. You know, I do kind of get a little bit maybe too hyper at times, you know, and again, that's just me. That's the way I played. You know, you play with emotion, and I hope the team has fed off that. We do have a bunch of goofballs on our team. They like having fun. Sometimes I got to tone them down. Like we're down 3-0, and they're dancing. What are we dancing about? We're losing. I said, I'll dance with you if we're up 3-0. You know, I think it's a different dynamic with this team. They do have a chip, but I don't think it's to the fact where it's going to bring us too high or too low.
We talked a lot about the strength of this team, and offensively, certainly that has been a highlight for you guys so far here in this season. Pitching and defense, the other aspect. What's in the circle here for the Broncos as you get set for a weekend GPAC series, and what are we expecting to see defensively?
So Kira Brack is our number 1 pitcher. You know, we brought her in from Cloud. I think she's 7-3, I believe. Does she wow anybody? No. She throws strikes, and that got coming from. I'm a former pitcher. I love her. She throws strikes. I don't have any hair. I don't have to pull out anymore. You know, the only thing that gets Kira in trouble is sometimes she throws too many strikes. You know, she does, you know, tend to nibble a little bit, and I think that gets her in trouble. When her natural movement is on, she's very good. And then after that, we've been trying, you know, Angie Lockhart's a senior. She was on his team last year. It's consistency with the kid. She's our hardest thrower, but sometimes she's not consistent. You know, just even this last weekend, she faced the defending national champions, held her own. She gave up 2 balls that, they were home runs. After that, she did a great job against a very good team. Yes, they're ranked number 9. Then the next morning, we faced a team. She got lit up. She threw just pitches that were just hammered. So Angie, if somebody would tell me, hey, Angie's going to throw well, well, get out there. Nope, I feel that she's not going to throw well. We better throw somebody else. Angie is kind of her own worst enemy, but she is our number 2. And after that, we have a bunch of relievers that They can throw strikes, do the job, but those two are our best pitchers right now. And defensively, you know, we're down a third baseman, and it's, you know, Kaylee Pino was the reigning conference, you know, player of the week. She wasn't even our starter at the beginning of the year. She can hit, and there's no doubt. She's been our DP, but now she's our everyday third baseman until maybe Sam comes back. We just don't know if Sam's going to come back. And our up the middle, we're solid. You know, they're two seniors. They're very good. They do the job. I would say we're an average. I'm not going to say we're below and we're not above. There's games we look really, really good, and there's games you just shake your head and say, we've played a lot of games on turf, so it is different. You know, when we play on dirt, I think we're fine. Sometimes turf, it's different. It's a different feel. It's faster, it's bouncier, or whatever. So, you know, consistently now, we're just trying to find that consistent where if we make 0-1 here, we're going to be in every game.
Coach, let's end this by just talking about being at home. It's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different preparation. You're not getting out of hotel rooms and getting ready to get to ball fields. Just how good does it feel to be at home this weekend?
It does. It feels great. You know, you look at our schedule. The only, you know, road game we have in the next 6 to 8 is at Peru, and we got to take advantage of this. You know, our ballpark can play it's like Wrigley Field. It really is. If the wind's blowing in, it is really hard to hit. And if the wind's blowing out, it is it's just easy to hit. A pop-up could blow out. You know, against Northwestern, looking at the forecast, it says a south wind, so the wind's going to be blowing in. And then the next day, a front's in, the wind should be blowing out. So it does play different, and that's why it's so important for our pitchers. Don't walk people. Throw strikes. And again, you can challenge people even at 200 feet. I've seen balls look like it's way out and they've blown back and it's on the end of the infield. It really does play different at our ballpark more than probably anybody else in our conference. But I am excited. I am so tired of going on a bus or whatever, driving. And the girls know that. They're probably excited to get out there and see some familiar faces, family, just to be around the community and have some people come support us.
Man, we almost made an entire interview without sneaking in a Cubs reference. You had to get one on me. All NL Central allegiances aside, Coach, good luck here this weekend. We can't wait to see you out on the diamond, and we'll talk shop when it's all over.
And, hey, thank you. We're so excited for having some coverage with this. This is new to us, and I don't know how the girls are going to react to that. Actually having we got some media here. This is awesome. But we're excited, but thank you very much.
That is Troy Baker. Boy, he's a character in himself. Isn't he?
He's great.
He's great.
He is so great. And there was, so many highlights when we were, talking about the Northwestern and Briar Cliffs and kind of previewing those games. And it was like, I asked him about Northwestern, and he says, "Man, they're really fun until you have to play them." I mean, he's brutally honest, and he's a great leader for that softball team.
So again, Hastings College softball opening up their conference season this weekend. Don't look at your printed schedules; they've completely moved things around. Hastings will play Briar Cliff Thursday, 4 and 6 at the Smith Complex. Friday, Hastings will play Northwestern at 10 and noon. We'll have all 4 games here on Extreme Sports as we begin our exclusive coverage of Hastings College softball this weekend. You'll have the play-by-play in all 4 games coming up this weekend. So going to be busy for softball.
Looking forward to getting her cranked up.
All right, we've got Nebraska football. The Huskers are getting ready to start their spring practice schedule, although we're not going to have a spring game, so to speak, this year. They'll still go through spring football practice. Head coach Matt Rule was before us yesterday in Lincoln. He says several players actually going to miss spring practice this year.
Tristan Alvano will be limited. Demetrius Bell will miss spring ball. David Borchers back at some point, but not initially. Jameer Khan, Connor Keneally, Turner Corcoran, Jalen George, Gunnar Gatula, Roger Gradney, Sua Lafuta will be limited. Henry will be Latowski will be limited. Mac Markway will be out. Dawson Merritt out. Pierce Newberry out. Carter Nelson out, Teddy Prohaska out/limited, Keelan Smith out, Evan Taylor out.
Hopefully we got enough players to get through spring football practice. Anyway, he also yesterday officially named Pat Stewart as our new general manager of the football team.
Well, Pat's been a part of five Super Bowl teams, right? He's been part of 3 NFL teams. I've worked with him twice before, which, it's that when I say that, that's not friendship. That's knowing how adaptable and versatile he is. We're moving into a space in personnel where no one really knows what lies ahead. So you just need really smart people. And the concepts, I've always really appreciated the Patriots. If you're in the NFL, there's really 2 grading scales. The Patriots, the Belichick scale being one, which really takes into account, how you value different positions, and that, as they relate to others. Pat's always been really a difference maker, I think, in thinking about that, talking about that. So as we move into this new space in college, where you now have added in both recruiting, retention, and now finance, I think Pat's just another really, really smart person who can help us with that, take our evaluation skills to the next level. I think Keith Williams has done a phenomenal job for us. Keith has, continued to rise in the organization, and really, Pat's weakness will be the recruitment piece. You don't really recruit in the NFL, but Keith, Troy Vincent, Avery Gossett, I think those people have done a fantastic job, and I think Sean Patton's done really a phenomenal job in the 3 years. We've had top 25 classes. We had a top 10 portal class, and this was kind of precipitated by him kind of wanting to move into a different space, wanting really to stay more in player finance, wanting to be more in analytics, and a commitment by us just to kind of look at personnel departments and recruiting departments and try to take it to a whole other level, which I think you're seeing across the board in college football. So Pat seemed to be the right fit. We're lucky to get him. He left a great job in New England. Very grateful to the people in New England to let him come, and we're excited to have him.
Yeah, we're listening to Matt Rule, his preseason spring football practice news conference that he held yesterday. The coach says he really likes his team as we enter into the 3rd year now with this get together.
Oh yeah, we're certainly further along than we ever have been. Just looking at us physically, right? One of the hard things that we've done is we've taken a lot of young players in the first 2 years, which leads to a sort of a young, physically and mentally immature team at times. Those guys are growing up. So, I think you see a team that's bigger, faster, stronger, understands more what needs to be done, takes on things in a much more mature way less distractions. To isolate any one player, I don't know that I could, because I think there's so many doing a great job. In good news, there's not one person that's not doing a good job. There's no one that's sort of in the doghouse per se, as there have been in years past. I think everyone understands what's at stake, and I think the guys we brought in the portal, they've been excellent additions. But the great news is they don't stand out so much. It's not like, oh wow, they're so much better than everybody else we have. I think you see a ton of competition, which is exactly what we want.
And the coach says that Dana Holgerson, the new offensive coordinator for the Huskers, has really taken control of the offensive unit.
I think really at the end of the day, our issues offensively when we've had them have just been consistency. And I think I stand on record, I think I haven't said that, just think sometimes we just did too much and tried to serve too many masters. I think he's kind of come in and just been like, hey, these are the things that we're going to do. And, he hasn't changed the terminology. It's still the same offense. It's still the same things that we were doing before. It's just kind of dialed down into what he feels like and the staff feels like we're going to be good at. They do a great job. They meet together. We go out. When we're able to, we do some football stuff when we can. They work on it, evaluate it together. I think the thing with Dana is he's really a unifying force. He works with everyone. Sometimes you think of these, guys who, like him, have had a ton of success, and they're kind of like these off on the side, guru all by themselves. But he's just really, I think, does a great job of utilizing his entire offensive staff, bringing it along to the players and holding the players to a high standard. And, the proof will be in the pudding, right? But I mean, I like what they're doing, and I think the players are comfortable kind of in the direction that we're heading.
And the coach says that Dylan Raiola preparing for his second season as the starting quarterback for the Huskers.
If you go back and look at Dylan's year, I mean, as a freshman, I think he did a lot of things that were not a lot of freshmen do. I think he was really up there in terms of passing percentage and all those different things. And then there's things I know as a freshman he would love to improve upon. So he's going into year 2 now. Last year, as a highly recruited freshman, I think at this time you saw him trying to, keep his voice quiet and just earn everyone's respect. I think now, he has to step up and lead when able. He's really working on his body composition. He won't be a great quarterback at 240 pounds, right? So getting his body composition to one where he can be fleet of foot, where he can slide nimbly and move within the pocket, where he can convert third downs with his feet. I think that's something that we're all bought into and he has to continue to do. So there's things he needs to work on. But also, just another year in the system, another year of understanding what a mat drill looks like, what an off-season workout looks like, what meetings look like. I think all players make a great jump from year 1 to year 2, and then probably from year 2 to year 3. The thing we're trying to avoid with all of our freshmen is a lot of times guys have some success as a freshman, and then they kind of tail off, and all of a sudden it takes till year 3, and you got to get them back going again. And whether it's Jacory or V9 or Willis or any of those guys who played as a true freshman, making sure that doesn't happen, and Dylan's certainly one we can't allow that to happen with. And so, Dana will, I'm sure, push him in every respect. Glenn does a great job with him on the day-to-day, and I think you just see a lot of consistency on that side of the ball.
All right, so that's Matt Rule. He's got plenty more stuff that we'll get to next couple of days here on the show, but that's the tip of the iceberg on his feelings getting ready for spring football practice for the Huskers.
Yeah, preparations continuing, and I mean, God, it just sounds more like we're running this thing like a professional football team now, which I think is the way of the world right now in college football with NIL deals and transfer portals, basically turning college football into a free agency, if you will, during the offseason. You got to run this thing like it's a professional football team. He's brought in guys to do that, and I think it solidified that to me, that press conference, that the college football, the way we knew college football, maybe even 5 years ago, it's done. And you got to run this thing like a business and like a franchise, like an organization. This is a brand now, and it's bringing in the right guys to bring that brand to the top.
In the sports headlines today, the Nebraska baseball team winners over Wichita State last night, 10-1. Same two teams will play tonight at 6:02. Nebraska's senior guard Bryce Williams has been named a first-team all-conference player in the Big Ten Conference, becomes the first Husker to be named a first-teamer since 2018. Hastings College softball schedule juggled for the weekend. Broncos will now play Briar Cliff on Thursday at 4 and 6. Friday, Hastings will play Northwestern at 10 and noon. We'll have all 4 games here on Extreme Sports, and the Boys State High School basketball tournament gets underway today in Lincoln. First round games in classes A, C1, and D1 will be played today. First round games in B, C2, and D2 will be played on Thursday. Among the games today, Donovan Trumbull playing Ogallala. 1:30 starting time today at the Devaney Center. We'll have the game here on Extreme Sports beginning with a pregame somewhere around 1:15 today. So that's a check in what's going on in sports. We've talked about a lot of things going on, and a lot of things are going on in the sporting world here with NFL football and the free agency period. Tiger Woods being injured at home. Just some of the things we've been talking about here so far this morning.
Yeah, a collision course of all the sports coming together. And, I guess my big question, you got Gino with you today. What's the ETA at the Devaney Center? Are you going to get there in time for lunch in the hospitality room?
Oh, there's no doubt he'll find me lunch. Yeah, there's no doubt Gino will find me lunch. if we get out of town as scheduled, Gina will find me lunch of some sort there at the Devaney Center.
That's my favorite part is coming out with like a waiter. He had 3 different plates of pizza and making sure all the boys were fed. Always loved and appreciated that about Mean Gene, the dancing machine, and he loves his pizza, and I believe they still serve that down at the Devaney Center in the hospitality suite. So I have no doubt you'll be there before noon.
Yeah, I hope so. Get a little lunch before the ball game today. So
you can't do a ball game on an empty stomach.
No, we can't. Down from Trumbull, Ogallala today, we'll have it for you here on Extreme Sports. Looking forward to the Boys State High School basketball tournament. We'll have softball tomorrow. We'll have softball on Friday. We'll have Hastings College basketball from the national tournament on Friday, hopefully into Saturday. We'll have Hastings College baseball coming up this weekend as well. So our plate is full, but that's what we do here at Extreme Sports.
Love the full plate. Looking forward to diving in to some of the items on this plate and getting first eyeballs on softball, getting first eyeballs on baseball, and looking forward to getting everything underway.
All right, we'll do it again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Remember, if you want to listen to a replay, maybe what Coach Baker had to say this morning, go to our social media sites, get the podcast section, and listen to us again, even on the Roku app. On the Roku TV app, you'll be able to find a spot to get a replay of this show. So if you want to listen to us again, you can. And be back tomorrow morning, I guess, bright and early. 7 o'clock starting time here for Huddle Up on Extreme.